Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, and you are watching the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, here I am surrounded by CDs everywhere, boxes, stacks, shelves, and I'm talking to you about a band that is not on CD. And that's why I'm telling you about them, because I need you to search them out on vinyl if you can, or maybe if one of you has a label, maybe you could reissue their catalog on CD. I'm talking about one of the most underappreciated and overlooked power pop bands of all time. I'm talking about Springfield, Missouri's Fool's Face. Now, these are musicians that were playing together ever since like the late 60s, but then, they went through a couple band names, but by the time they released their debut album in 1979 called Here to Observe, they were called Fool's Face. Now, the band was Jim Wirt on bass and vocals, Tommy Dwyer on drums, Jimmy Frink on guitar and vocals, Brian Kaufman on guitar and vocals, and Dale McCoy on keyboards and vocals. Look, if you're into the Pez Band, The Late Show, The Proof, any of these other great straight-ahead power pop bands that just wrote great songs and were very unassuming, but uber talented. In fact, from what I understand, Springfield, Missouri owes a lot of gratitude to bands like Fool's Face for really getting that scene started. Now, how did I get into Fool's Face? Well, that's because I was up at, it was either Renee's All Airs or Aaron's Records in Hollywood on Melrose, and just flipping through the bins. And then I came across this album called Tell America. So this was 1981, maybe early 82, but the album came out in 81. And I looked at it, and I thought, oh, this looks interesting. Looked at the back picture. And then inside of it, it had a bunch of like promo stuff, like reviews and bio and all that kind of stuff. And it occurred to me that, well, probably this band, this little Springfield, Missouri band, sent this to some label or some people in LA, and they just tossed it in a pile and sold it. And so I was the lucky recipient of this. And I was so happy to get it because I took it home, put it down. The Toms, Shoes are other bands that this really reminds me of. Not in the sense of like homemade or independent, but just in the sense of classic songwriting, great harmonies and all this kind of stuff. Of course, I fell in love with the album Tell America. I started putting songs on mixtapes for friends. This is before the internet, so it was very difficult to find out what else was available. So I eventually found Here to Observe, their debut album that came out in 1979. This is the album that had the classic songwriting, had a little bit of that new wave urgency, but by Tell America in 1981, they had refined it. They had really found their own voice. Really a fantastic album. That was followed up in 1983 by Public Places. I mean, look, this is an album that really says that this is a band that should be signed to a major label and not an independent label. Now, unfortunately, they were down to a quartet by the time their next release came out, which was only on cassette. It was self-titled, but is now known as The Red Tape, and it came out in 1984. And the band sort of splintered after that. They all went off into different things. Jim Wirt actually became producer, engineer, and I mean, he engineered a lot of stuff like Fiona Apple and L.A. Guns and some stuff from like the grunge era and stuff like that, stuff that wasn't this power pop thing. He was actually, gaining a name and becoming very successful within this musical universe that outside of power pop. And then it wasn't until 2002 that the band got back together and they recorded a self-titled album, all new material, and it was updated sound, but you could still tell that, hey, yeah, these guys still got it. In fact, I saw Fool's Face when they came out and they played the International Pop Overthrow that year, 2002, 2003. And I got a copy of that CD, and unfortunately, it is long gone out of my collection, and there's no way I can afford a new copy. But if you find it, definitely track it down. But their albums, though, if this is great power pop, like I said, the Toms, Shoes, The Proof, Late Show, Pez Band, those kind of bands. This, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, you're going to love this band. They've never officially released this stuff on CD. Maybe labels have come to them and say, let's put this stuff out. Maybe the band doesn't want to do it, or maybe they want to do it. I have no idea. I don't know any of these guys. But this is music that needs to be heard by more people. None of their songs have showed up on compilations or anything. So if you're into discovering great power pop that existed in the late 70s and early 80s and you've never heard Fool's Face, then guess what? I've put together a medley for you to listen to right now. This deserves your attention. So sit back, relax, give it a listen, and I will see you on the other side.
Cause I'm sick to death of rock and roll stars. All that I want is to know. All that I want is to know. You can have the innocence you had. You better find out. Start making your mind up. We're standing behind you all the way. Because we know that whatever you decide's gonna be a yes. I've gotta get a letter to you. Can't let our love be broken in two. I've gotta get a letter to you. Yeah. When
Anyway, that's it. I hope this inspires you to check out the music of Fool's Face. Go search the bins. My personal opinion, Tell America is the first one you should buy. Public Places, Here to Observe, and then The Red Tape. But whatever you can find, definitely check it out. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.